Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Discriminating Gamer. You know, I've got a buddy of mine who told me that he thinks that women in camouflage are really sexy. I don't see it. Ladies and gentlemen, speaking of not seeing things, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Sniper Elite from Rebellion Unplugged. Hello everybody, we'll get back to the review in just a second. I just want to take a moment to ask you to go ahead and check out and subscribe to my other channel, that is Cody Carlson PhD, where we talk about military history and books on history and fun things like that. Please check that out, please subscribe, and now, back to the review. In Sniper Elite from Rebellion Unplugged, one player takes on the role of the sniper as he attempts to infiltrate and sabotage a German facility, while up to 3 other players take on the roles of those evil Germans hunting him down. The game comes with a double-sided game board. Essentially, these are 2 different facilities that the sniper is going to infiltrate during the course of the game. And they are divided into many smaller spaces, but you also have larger sectors of black, yellow, and red. You also have certain icons, spaces you can't go, but you can see through. There's also walls and buildings, and critically, there are objective points numbered on the game board. Now, at the beginning of the game, the sniper is going to go ahead and select 2 objectives on the game board. These are like playing cards. If he draws 2 of the same suit, he's got to draw 1 more that's not of that same suit. So essentially, he's going to be moving in different locations on the game board in order to get to these objectives. Now, there are a number of loadout cards. Now, these are cards that are going to help the sniper in his quest here. Things like throwing a rock to distract your enemies and move them away from you. There's booby traps like mines you can set up to blow them up if they move in that space. There's all sorts of goodies and things like that. But the sniper is going to go ahead and he's going to select 3 of these, and there are some doubles, and he can take more than 1 of the same type. He's going to select 3 of these and put the rest back, shuffle, put the rest back, and that's going to be his loadout, and he's going to try to go ahead and use those to his advantage as he's moving through the game board. Now, critically, the sniper is also going to put a number of tokens into a bag. The shot bag essentially is how he shoots at his enemies during the game. There's going to be a number of aim tokens, there's going to be some noise tokens, and some recoil tokens, and some other tokens might get added in as well as the game progresses. Now, as I say, up to 3 players can play the German defenders. Now, the German defenders are made up of an officer and 2 troops, and they each correspond to the different sectors, black, yellow, and red, and they have starting locations on those sectors. The officers have kind of an iron cross at their base, and there's an iron cross sector on the board which shows exactly, or an iron cross space on the board which shows exactly where they start. Now, those officers are going to draw specialist cards. There's different kinds of specialist cards that give them certain advantages during the game. For instance, there is a medic, which means if one of his troopers would be shot, he can essentially use that in order to make them not leave the board. There's a canine card, which essentially allows the German to set up these dog tokens, which will alert them if the sniper moves through those locations. And there's several other specialist cards that these Germans can use. On these specialist cards, the Germans are going to put 2 cubes. Now, these cubes essentially are the number of times that they can use those specialist cards. So every time they take a marker off of that specialist card, that's 1 less time they can use it during the game. Now, the remaining cubes, the black, yellow, and red, 2 each, will go at the top of the countdown track on number 10. The sniper will also place his health token at the bottom of the countdown track. It will be a full heart, which can be flipped to a half heart. More on that later. The Germans also place a suppression token on their specialist card. Now, the sniper can enter the game board from one of 4 entryways, but it cannot be in a space where he has an objective, so it kind of limits where he can enter from. Now, the sniper can essentially move and shoot on his turn. Now, as far as movement goes, he can move 0, 1, 2, or 3 spaces. Now, the sniper is keeping track of his movements on a dry erase board, which is a smaller version of the game board. And the sniper writes down the number of the turn on the countdown track in whichever space he is for that particular turn. Now, if he moves 0 or 1 space, he makes no noise. But if he moves up to 2 or 3 spaces and he moves past adjacent to one of the Germans, then he has to say, that German heard a noise. Critically, the sniper cannot move into a space that the German occupies. I guess that rules out France. The sniper also cannot move into a space that he has already occupied on that same turn. There are also some doorways and elevated walkways. He can only access those using the appropriate spaces on the board. Now, if a sniper chooses to fire, and he can fire before he moves or after he moves, but he can't move, fire, then move, he's going to go ahead and declare, first of all, I'm going to draw X number of tokens. He can say however many he wants to draw. Then he draws those tokens from the board, from his bag rather. And what he's looking for are those aim tokens. Now, he has to get a number of aim tokens that is equal to the distance of space between him and his target and the spot that the target is on. If he can draw that many aim tokens, all things being equal, then he can take out his target and he can say, I got the target. That target is removed from the board. However, if the sniper draws 2 noise tokens, he must say where he is and show his position on the board. You would place the figure there in that position. If he were to draw any combination of 5 misfire and noise tokens, then it is an automatic miss. The shot is no good. Now, if a sniper is successful in taking out an officer, that officer must hand over his suppression token. That suppression token goes in the bag. Now, in future shots, when he pulls out those noise tokens, for every suppression token he draws equal to a noise token he draws, it cancels out that noise. Now, depending on who you shoot and what happens, you're going to be putting more tokens into your bag. For instance, if you succeed in killing a troop, a soldier, you can go ahead and put 1 more aim token in the bag because that means that the Germans are panicked and it's going to be easier to hit them. Now, there may be some other things that happen during the game that cause you to add more noise tokens or misfire tokens or aim tokens into your bag. Now, as the sniper is moving around, the defenders are also taking their turns trying to prevent him from reaching his objectives. Now, the defenders can take 2 actions on their turn. Now, on the countdown board, they've got those 2 cubes. So each time they take an action, they can move one of their cubes down 1 space. So that way, you can, like I say, each defender has kind of 3 units, but you can take actions with 2 of them every turn. You can move up to 2 spaces. Now, if you move into a space where the sniper is, you don't necessarily reveal it. You don't necessarily say anything unless, for a second move, the German says, I attack my space. If they attack your space and you're there, then the sniper gets a wound, goes ahead and he flips his full heart over to his half heart. If he's at a half heart, he removes it, he loses the game. He can choose to spot an adjacent space, meaning if he thinks the sniper is right next to him, he can say, I can spot you there. If he is there, then the sniper must add a noise token to his bag. You can also do a sweep. Essentially, you can pick your space and 2 matching adjacent spaces, and you say, are you in any of these spaces? The sniper has to say if he is in one of those spaces, but he does not have to say which space he is in. Now, if your officer or your soldiers have been shot and they've been killed, you can go ahead and you can deploy them back to the board. You can deploy your officer back into his starting officer space, and you can deploy soldiers anywhere on the board that is adjacent to an officer. Finally, the German can choose to dismiss. Essentially, they can remove one of their soldiers from the board in the hopes of bringing them back to a more advantageous spot on the board in the next turn. Now, in addition to these things, the defenders can use those specialist abilities at any time as one of their actions. Now, if the sniper ever goes to an objective space, but it is not one of the objectives they have in their hand, they can do a loadout action. Essentially, they can look at some of the cards from the loadout deck and gain more loadout cards. Now, in order to complete an objective, the sniper actually has to move onto his objective space and reveal his card, putting his sniper token on the board so people know where he is at that moment. If you do that, you immediately reset the countdown track back to 10. The sniper has 10 more turns to get to his next objective. So players are going back and forth. The sniper is trying to move around secretly, take shots at his enemies. The enemies are going ahead. They're trying to try all of their tricks in order to locate where he is, attack him, and to give him 2 wounds. Now, if the sniper is wounded twice, he loses, he's out of the game, and the defenders win. But if the sniper succeeds in completing both of his objectives, then he wins. Sniper Elite. So many of you who watch the channel regularly know one of my favorite games of all time is Fury of Dracula. It was from Fantasy Flight. Now WizKids has printed it most recently. Fury of Dracula is a great hidden movement game. It's a big, epic, 3-hour experience where hunters are trying to find Dracula all over Europe, and he can come out and attack them. And it's one of those games that's highly thematic and sucks you in. That game made me fall in love with kind of a hidden movement and hunters kind of games. Letters from Whitechapel, Whitehall Mystery. I never played Spectre Ops, but I heard that one was pretty fun. But I was kind of when I first saw this game, Sniper Elite, I never played the video game that it's based on. So I thought, well, okay, that might be kind of fun. And then out of the blue, one of the good people here at Rebellion Unplugged contacted me. He said, Cody, would you be interested in taking a look at this? And then, of course, I saw Dave Thompson was one of the designers, who is, of course, one of my favorite designers. And I thought, yeah, gosh, yeah, now I'm interested. Now I'm really kind of want to see what this baby can do. So they sent me a copy of this, and I was in Utah. I played it with some friends. I brought it back. I played it solo. I played it with some more friends here. So I played several games of this. I played it as both the sniper as the defenders, and I've also played the solitaire version as well. And first of all, let me say, the game plays in like 45 minutes to an hour. It's not a terribly long game. So it doesn't quite have that epic feel of a Fury of Dracula. But nevertheless, this game really, really is intense. It is intense for both the defenders and particularly for the sniper. It's a very intense game of hidden movement, of deduction, of trying to look at all possible spaces they could have gotten to. What do we know? And for the sniper, of course, it's just trying to move around and not be detected. One of the things I love in this game, like with Fury of Dracula, I love playing Dracula. It's a lot of fun. But I really like playing the hunters because I like the deduction and I like trying to figure it out and I like the negotiation. Okay, you go here and you do this, and you go here and I'll do this, and I really get a kick out of that. And the same feeling I get on that level from Fury of Dracula is here in Sniper Elite. I love that negotiation of saying, okay, you do this, and I'll do this. You do this, and okay, we got this. So I like that negotiation aspect. But I also, too, like playing the sniper. It's a lot of fun. Because you've got some real tough decisions. Do I need to take a shot? Do I absolutely have to take a shot and risk revealing my position? Sometimes you want to, but you know what? Maybe I want to take a shot because it's an easy shot and I want to get more aim tokens in my bag. Do I want to go after that officer so I can get a suppression token in there? And critically, do I just want to move one here, or do I want to risk moving faster and tip them off that guy heard a noise? And it's fun too at the end of the game when you go back and you see what the sniper actually did, and you defender's like, oh, we thought you were over here, we thought you were here, and then the sniper's like, I thought you were going to do this, I thought you knew I was there, and it's so much fun. In fact, one of the games I was playing where I was the sniper, it was fun because it was like I was in a space and there's a choke point, and I'm trying to get around this choke point, and they keep kind of just moving to block me, and sometimes inadvertently. And they were negotiating, and finally, I thought I found my way, and I think it was Tina who was playing with us. She said, well, okay, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to move here, and then I'll do this. And they said, well, why don't you just attack there? I'm like, no, don't, because I was already down to one attack, and that's what got me, that's what killed me. Fun game. I've seen both sides win so far, more or less evenly, but man, really, really good game. Having said that, I played through the solitaire game. I thought the solitaire game was okay. I thought it was fine, but it's a very different game. The solitaire game is a very different game because it doesn't have the hidden movement aspect to it. And to me, that's what makes this game crackle. That's what makes this game work, is that hidden movement. And the solitaire game is fine, it's fun, but it's not amazing. And I'll tell you right now, the multiplayer version of this game is amazing. Really, really like this game a lot. I'm looking, this is another one I'm thinking, Game of the Year. Maybe. We'll have to see. I've got a few games in contention so far. This one's on the list. Really enjoyed this game. Can't recommend it enough. I've got the expansion, which I have not yet played, and hopefully at some point I'll be able to bring you some information on that one as well. But I got to tell you, I'm loving the base game. It's phenomenal. Recommendation for the discriminating gamer is cannot recommend. No, it is buy it. You're going to want to buy this one. You'll have a ball. You and your friends will absolutely love it. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We'd ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. I'd also ask you, friends, to please check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about military history and books on history and fun things like that. Please check it out, please subscribe, and please give a thumb to this video on Board Game Geek. That helps us out a lot as well. You know, ladies and gentlemen, my girlfriend recently broke up with me because she said I wasn't American enough. Yeah, I saw that coming a kilometer away.
Please somebody help me on my feet again. And I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band.
I'm sweeping my space and these two spaces.
Yes. Okay. So now here's the question. So I can't attack.
You can't